Welcome to episode 16 of A New Way to Love, Live, and Lead. I'm your host, Cheryne Blom, a master coach, author, and the founder of the Self-Mastery Hub, your center for self-inquiry, healing, and growth. This podcast is here to remind you that midlife is an awakening, a time to come home to yourself and unleash the best version of you. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Midlife changes how we see ourselves and how we feel being seen. Our bodies change, our roles shift, our confidence wobbles, and often the self we've become no longer matches the self we see in the mirror. This is why the midlife glow up is so powerful, because unlike the glow ups of our 20s, the midlife glow up is not about fitting in. It's about standing in your truth. Your glow up is your radiance. It's not about looking younger. It's about feeling more you. It's not about impressing others. It's about expressing your worth. And your outer image becomes a mirror for your inner identity. How you dress, how you present yourself, the colors you choose, the energy you walk into a room with, it all reflects how deeply connected you are to your own value. And this is why I am so excited for today's conversation. Today, I am joined by the incredible Purvi Ken Shah, personal branding and image consultant, confidence and charisma coach, and award-winning makeup artist with 25 years of experience. Purvi teaches leaders, speakers, and mission-driven women how to be seen, how to step into their expertise, and how to align with their outer image, with their inner brilliance. She is the founder of On Point Image Consulting, where she helps clients reinvent their style with intention, clarity, and confidence. Her philosophy is powerful. Purvi says, when your outer image aligns with your inner brilliance, your presence becomes magnetic. And that magnetism is exactly what I'm referring to our glow up. Today, we're talking about how your image can elevate your confidence in midlife and how to reinvent your radiance from the inside out. Purvi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today, Cheryne.
It is so lovely. Now, you are in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And,
I am.
and I'm in Melbourne. It's been amazing. We've met through an online program that we're both doing, which has been amazing. And I've really, I know that I personally used your services to help me kind of reinvent my image of where I am right now and step into my glow up, my truth, who I have become today in my 50s. And so that was really helpful. So I was really excited to have you as a guest. And, yeah, let's get started because you've been in the world of image, beauty, and personal branding for over 25 years. But let's go back. What was the moment you realized that image isn't vanity? It's about identity.
Yes. So true. So true. It's not just about vanity. Vanity is just a little part of your image, I would say. When I was growing up, I was actually I grew up in India, and in India, people believed back then, I'm talking like 60s and before 60s and 70s, and even some early 80s, it was a very, very strong belief that to be beautiful, you have to be light skinned or fair skinned.
Mm.
Yes. And that is something that I had to struggle with because, everybody in my family, is much, much lighter than I am in their skin tone. So
Mm.
I grew up with the feeling that I'm not beautiful because
Yeah.
I have kind of a dusky or a brownish, skin tone.
Mm.
I had to deal with that. And it was actually, colorism was rampant at that time
Yeah.
when I was growing up. And there was a cream called Fair and Lovely.
Mm.
Facial cream, a skin whitening cream
Yeah.
that was called Fair and Lovely. And everybody was using it. And they were, one of the top products in the market. And here I am, with the self doubt. Just because of the color of my skin, I'm thinking I'm not beautiful.
Mm.
And then as I grew up, you know, actually, even my family members used to like mock me like a little, that brownish girl in the family.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so when I grew up, then I realized that it's not just about your skin color. Beauty is not just about your skin color. Beauty has a lot more to do from within as well. And to be very honest, when I grew up, I learned to, I started using more makeup, and I was getting a lot of compliments like, "Hey, you look so beautiful," and that came from the people outside of my own family. I'm not talking my parents directly, but the
Mm.
other, the relatives in the family, like aunts and cousins, and uh, those those relatives, not my parents directly. But that's when I realized that no, beauty is more than just your outer looks and your, how you look, your colors, or your hair color, or your skin color. It is a lot more. And I realized that it has a lot to do of how you present yourself. Yes, you can beautify yourself. You can, dress well, put your hair and makeup well. But at the end of the day, it's how much you love yourself and what you think about what's your self worth? What do you think about your own self?
Yeah.
Uh,
And I love that because, this program and is so much about self-worth.
mm,
Yeah. A new way to love, live, and lead is about coming from a place of self-belief and not fear. And I really love your story, and thank you for sharing that, because I think it really identifies this kind of um
Beauty
you
standard.
know the beauty standards that we've all been told, and I've shared on the podcast before. um you know yes, I'm a light skinned person, and but I was born with very frizzy hair, and that I'm not beautiful, that I'm ugly, I'm different, I don't fit in. I grew up with that same story, and it really shaped my belief system. And it's so interesting, what you were talking about there, because what I asked you is about how does it become our identity, is when we identify with this I'm not beautiful story, and we start to build all the patterns of overcompensating because we feel it really shifts our identity. So this is so interesting. And you said that you started using makeup, you were the daughter of a beautician. So how did that your own relationship with beauty, and how did that change your confidence and self-expression?
Yeah, so I grew up in a household where my mother was a beautician. And I actually saw her, when all her clients, when they came to her salon, and they were, one thing which I really noticed is that, of course, they did the hair and makeup and, their nails, everything got done. But when they were walking out the salon, what really, struck my mind is that it was the confidence and how good they felt.
Yeah.
It was not just the outside beauty. It was it was how good they felt about themselves. And that elevated their confidence. Their energy was just different because they felt good about themselves.
Absolutely. And that's the glow up, because when we are feeling good about ourselves, we glow.
Mhm.
What is a belief that about confidence that you had in your 20s or 30s that you no longer have today?
Good questions. So, yes, in my 20s and 30s, being in the beauty industry, and, as I said, my mother was a beautician. So, I would say that of course, I did all the things like, doing my hair the perfect way, my makeup the perfect way, my clothing, my dressing is everything is just on point. Everything is on point. But as I grew, 40s and, now I realized that you can still be beautiful and feel beautiful even when you are not perfect. Your hair is not done perfectly. Your makeup is not done perfectly. Your clothing is okay. You can still feel beautiful, and you can still own that confidence.
Absolutely.
You don't have to rely on the outer things to beautify yourself. Yes, it can help, definitely, definitely, but it's not everything.
Absolutely. And midlife shakes your confidence. Like there's so much change. And I know even me personally, I've kind of been rediscovering a body that once felt strong, that once felt, um, had more mobility, that once felt a little bit more sexy. Um, and so it shakes us, and we're rediscovering ourselves. So, and for so many women in midlife in particular, we can feel invisible. We are tired. Life has become very busy. Life is going through a lot of change. Um, why do you think midlife shakes our confidence so much?
Yes, because midlife is, we're talking like 40 plus.
Yeah.
So women go through, and men too, we go through a lot of body changes, like a hormonal changes. Our kids are kind of grown up and they're on their own. Our parents are aging. At the same time, we have other social responsibilities, taking more. And also become maybe, empty nesters. Your kids leave you because they are off to college or they are off to another, country or city for the job, and they move out of your house. So suddenly you become like, oh my gosh, what do I do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You fall into that, you know, scenario like, oh my God, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And everything is kicking in at the same time, like your hormones, as I said, your social things, your social obligations, everything is, happening at the same time. And that's where you may feel a little bit shaken up and s- s- talking physically, like, say, for an example, if you want to lose weight, what worked in your 20s and 30s, it's not going to work to
Absolutely.
weight. So you need to adapt a different lifestyle, different diet, and some different ways of losing weight because your
Mm.
metabolism is not as high as you are. Your skin is, getting drier and is changing, and your hair is not behaving sometimes. A lot of physical and mental and emotional changes are happening. So it is kind of a little bit, it's not going to work what worked in 20s and 30s. So
Yeah.
we have to reinvent ourselves in every sense.
Yeah, and we when we were talking, like preparing for this podcast, we spoke about the different cycles of a woman's life, um, and how her relationship changes, like her own self-image changes. What do you think about that? Like how do those cycles affect our own image? Like just elaborate a little bit more on what you were saying there.
Yes. So say for an example, your skin is not as tight as you were
Yes.
just talking, when you cross 40, you feel that, okay, and your body is not as, your elasticity, your skin is losing its elasticity, your hair is changing, your diet is not working. And so everything is just changing. And those are the things, like as we age, this is going to happen and it's going to change. Even in the next 10 years, it's going to be even different scenario. So when you're navigating all those aspects of, going through that change, I would say you just have to find the ways um, of your self image, in a sense that you have to accept the changes. I think that's where a lot of women have, a challenge to accept that I am no more in my 20s and 30s. I am
Mm.
I am stepping into a different season of my life, and it is going to be different than what I am used to so far, or the people around me are used to, because we are also going through some mood changes or some anxieties, which we are not even aware of. So we are going through that, emotional turmoil or emotional, roller coaster, I would say.
Yeah.
So all those things are adding up, and your image at the time is just, as I said, I think the best part is to accept the changes and reinvent for the best.
I love that answer because so I went through this thing last year where I was like I was so bloated all the time, and it was really getting me down because, everything that you're saying, I completely relate to. And I just remember looking at my jeans and going, I never want to put those on again, and like all I wanted was like loose fitting, flowy drawstring pants. It's like, oh, I always wondered when I would find that look attractive, and it just came like all of a sudden I was like, it's comfort. Like I just want comfort. Um, and I think that there is a balance there, of because part of me also, like when we're so tired, you're feeling kind of frumpy. You don't
Mm.
want to put on that image, but it is still so important, or put on the clothes and still look presentable. But it is still so important of how we present ourselves, like what you're saying, and for women out there who feel that their external image no longer matches who she has become internally, what are those some of those signs that you would say to those women?
I would say that, you just said that you don't fit in your clothes, first of all.
Mm,
Okay. So you feel like, oh my gosh, this looked so great 5 years ago, but it doesn't fit the same way. And I'm not able to carry that dress anymore. And it's just like, this color is looking a little different on me. My hair color has changed. My skin is more drier. So all these changes are happening. And I think the best way I can say is that you just have to accept that it
mm,
is changing. The change, you have to accept this is a different season in your life. So when as you accept this, I think it becomes more and more easy that I have to reinvent myself.
mm.
And I think that makes it so much more easier to step into this new season of our life.
Absolutely. And that identity piece, I'd like to go a bit deeper into that, because I guess that's like when you're saying the reinvention, um, that rediscovery of our identity is so important, right? Um, so I want to ask you, you say that image is the perception of people have of you, but it's also a reflection of the perception you have of yourself. What
Yes.
do
So,
women misunderstand most about that?
well, first of all, you don't have to hold up an image.
Mm,
Don't try to hold up something that I have to look in a certain way. I have to do my hair in a certain way. I have to do my makeup in a certain way. I have to behave in a certain way. I think all that, maybe in a corporate world, you are forced to do that all these years, or you felt like okay, I have to do this. But you just have to take a step back and
Mm.
reflect on your own, self-worth and what you want to do next in your life. I think that will help to, align with your change. You'll be
Mm.
it will be an easy, segue to,
Yeah,
align with your image.
absolutely. And I think there's like a great message there, like you talk about acceptance. So, for example, like I was saying to you about my hair, and I've always felt like like something was wrong with me, or I didn't fit in, or I didn't look the part. And, like what you were saying about what your family said, I think that there's messages that all of us hear throughout our life of what we feel we're meant to look like. Like, even for me, I always thought, like, oh, I don't really look like the corporate type. And I've had to really own my authenticity a bit more. And I think that's what really thrives a little bit in midlife, where like I'm at the stage now where I'm like, well, this is who I am. I love that acceptance piece. This is who I am, and I'm gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna find what I feel are my best assets, what I feel I enjoy most about myself, and I'm gonna use those. I'm gonna elaborate on those. I'm gonna have fun with those. Um, what do you say to women who are like questioning themselves there?
Yes. So questioning, because as I said, it is very hard to accept because, we are used to a certain way for all these years, and it is very, very hard to accept the change because, we are not prepared. Like, okay, how am I going to wear this the piece of jeans that I wore, the clothing
Yeah.
that you wore for 5 years or 10 years ago, it's not going to fit the same way.
Mm.
I would say that step into this new season with an open mind and go and say for an example, clothing. Just, revamp your wardrobe,
Mm, mm.
have a different hairstyle, have a
Yeah,
different makeup look, have a different, you maybe now you need to wear glasses. So
yeah,
embrace that changes, and you can always fine. You can be stylish. You don't have to look like, or somebody you don't, who you are not,
yeah.
You just
And
have
I
to.
feel like that's where it's so powerful to work with an image consultant, because a lot of the time we get into our comfort zone. And like I remember when we had our session the first time, and you were like, silver jewelry, not your color type, the clothing that you're wearing. I was wearing kind of lighter colored. And, it was interesting how I shifted just a few things. Like I went out and bought all new gold jewelry. I love my gold necklaces. People probably see them all the time in my videos. And then I discovered my colors, the blues and the greens, and I felt like it was like I felt a transformation inside me. So it was interesting because obviously I'm working on my inner confidence, but I was also affected so beautifully by the color change in me, and seeing how I showed up differently, like on camera or even just like on stage when I do talks and things like that, that just color made me feel completely different. When was a time when you've seen a woman step into an outfit and instantly transform, not only because the clothes changed her, but because she suddenly recognized herself?
Well, thinking of talking about the color, you have experienced it with me. So I would say I had a client and she discovered her color. And when she was wearing the right color, right jewelry, and right type of clothing for her body type, she was getting like so many compliments everywhere she went. And that, first of all, it instantly lifted her mood, because, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, your energy is high. And when your energy is high, the other person gets it.
Mm, so true. That's the enthusiasm, it radiates out you when you're in that. That's the glow up, right?
Yes, because you feel good about yourself. So these color theories, inherent makeup, those are the things, those are the elements that can elevate your own confidence and your image, how you feel, inside as well. So
Mm.
it can project your confidence. They are the tools, I put it like that. They are the tools to elevate your confidence. And of course, you look good on
Yeah,
top.
and it was interesting for me, like when because I did some research after our our consultancy, and realized, wow, there's actually a science to this image consultants, the image, to presenting myself, that like understanding why I have felt kind of awkward in different cuts or shapes or necklines, and how to accentuate my assets, my neckline, my shape, my hair, what was working, what was not working. I think that, like you were saying there, of dressing to your body type, when we are, it's almost like our authenticity is the roadmap. And owning what our truth is, like you said, is the roadmap there. Because when we're dressing because what's on trend, or when we're dressing towards what we feel is right, that's when we kind of veer off path. But when we accept ourselves and we dress for our type, it's like the honoring ourselves puts us into alignment.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest ways that an aligned image can strengthen self-worth? Like the visibility in your presence, in leadership.
Sure. So I would say that, how you show up and how you dress up and your presence, we are being judged within 3 seconds or even
Mm,
less in this AI age. Uh,
mm,
Within 3 seconds of meeting somebody and before we open our mouth,
mm,
the other person has already made a judgment about our expertise,
mm.
about our worthiness, and they have already made a decision if they want to work with us or not
Yeah.
before we open our mouth, because that's the power of first impressions.
Mm.
Mm.
How do you define an aligned image? What does that mean to you?
Well, aligned image is, say, for an example, I am somebody who loves to dress up as a little bit modern style. So this is my style. I'm not somebody who likes to do a classic or, just a personal preference. And then when you pick and find out what is your personal style, here I would love to mention fashion is something you can buy
Mm.
and style is something you own.
Mm. Oh, I love that. There's our quote for the episode. Say that again.
Fashion is something you buy and style is something you own.
Ooh, woo. I just got goosebumps hearing you say that. That's really good. Okay, tell us more.
Yeah, so so when you want to show up authentically, so coming back to the my scenario, I like more modern styles. So I would pick a style or a clothing style, jewelry style, which is more modern, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my color theory. And
Mm.
that will give me a confidence because I like it and I look good in it. Then it's elevating my confidence and my energy is high.
Mm. Mm.
So I am not trying to dress up like more classic or bohemian, or I'm not a minimalistic, no, no, no,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
so I'm not trying to be that person.
Yeah. I love that because I know one of the things that I did when I was looking at my like reinventing my image and really taking my image a little bit more seriously and intentionally. I kind of created like my 5 words, and I know that was very much shaped by our conversation as well. So like I heard in what you were just saying, you have a modern look, you have certain jewelry pieces, and I think what happens is it also shapes our decisions. It actually gives us a decision making tool to when we're, because now I know when I go shopping now, I know what colors to buy. I know what shapes to buy. I like, for example, I'm like on the lookout for the best V-neck tops because I notice how much they work for me. So it's giving me some decisions, and I think that also adds to the confidence because confidence comes with competency. So when we show up consistently, like you said, in that aligned way, it it also builds that confidence muscle.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, as I said, all these things, all these elements makes us feel good at the end of the day. It's all about feeling good for ourselves, realizing our own worth.
Yeah,
You are radiating that energy and other person gets it.
exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love it. This is so interesting. Let's shift into something fun and actionable. Yeah? Because, people always want to know these little tidbits. So, what are the most common image mistakes women make in midlife, and what should we be avoiding?
Okay. I would say when we go and shop for our clothing, or we are trying a new hairstyle or a new, just a makeup, some makeup or lipstick or something. I think I have seen that again and again that women are not ready to change.
Mm.
A lot of time women are still wearing the same hairstyle they wore in their 20s and 30s.
Well, my hair only does this, so I've kind of had to accept that.
There are a few exceptions, but a lot of time women are not ready to, let go
Yeah.
of the past styles or, some of the trends they are still following from 30 years
Mm,
back. So I
mm,
would say you can always give it a little upgrade.
mm.
Those are the mistakes. So you don't look so much like, it doesn't look outdated.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
this, and you can give it a little bit of an upgrade. You don't have to be really very much like on an extreme. You don't have to do anything extreme or dramatic, but give your look a little upgrade.
Mm.
Believe me, you'll thank me
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
changed because your skin has changed, your body has changed. So,
Yeah.
yes, so you accept and you adapt the new styles or new things that I think a lot of women make mistake.
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm,
the other mistake women make is they're following the trends blindly,
mm,
you know? So some of the things, like some of the patterns that those are in fashion may or may
mhm.
not work with your body type.
Yeah.
So some of the things that you have to be careful that, hey, you're a tall woman, you're a short woman, if you have what is your body type, keep that in mind and then do, you know, adapt the fashion accordingly.
Can you give
Just
us a little bit of detail around that? Like even just a little summary around what are the body types and what like 1 or 2 tips for each body type of what we should know.
okay. So for an example, I am not a very tall person. I'm hardly 5 feet tall. And
You
so
look so tall online.
yeah. So anyway, so I have to keep in mind what will, elongate my body type.
Beautiful. Mhm.
Yes. So when I wear dresses, which are at the knee level or above the knee level slightly,
Mm-hmm.
flatters my figure.
Mm.
When I wear something like a midi length, like below my knees, it makes me more short.
Mm.
Or I can always wear like a long pants, you know, that elongates my own body type,
Yeah.
something like that. So you have to keep those things in your mind
Mm-hmm.
when you're shopping for yourself. And those are universal, I mean, it's fashion will come and go, but you still have to stick to these things which is working for your body.
So
In
what are the other body types?
So other body types, I would say somebody has a upper body which is a little heavier than the lower body,
Yeah.
you know. So you want to make sure that you're not wearing a too tight of the tops and then too skinny of the pants, which is going off the balance.
Yes.
So you want to find a symmetry where your top and bottom is looking more symmetrical, no more balance, because you
Yes.
don't want to accentuate if your upper body is heavy, you don't want it to look more bigger and your lower body more skinnier.
Yes. It's interesting because that perception, um, like when we're looking at ourselves, a lot of the time we don't know. Like because I remember somebody years ago when I worked with an image consultant many years ago, and she was like, "Yeah, you're an hourglass. You need to really focus on your waist and draw in." And I just remember going, but I felt like that made me feel so heavy. But then when I looked at it from that symmetry and the balance, and then because I was like, oh, it just makes me feel like my hips are so big. But then when she explained it to me, and when I kind of saw myself from like an outer perspective, it kind of changed that.
Yes. So it's basically, creating the symmetry and balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes. So
And what's important to know about colors? Like, how do we know what the wrong colors do? And how does the wrong color affect our confidence or drain our confidence?
oh my Lord. So the wrong color, if you're wearing a wrong color, I would say that first of all, you are going to look like you are a little bit sick or out of energy because
Hmm.
that's not working for you. And, if you're wearing a wrong makeup color, you can look very tired.
Mm.
And wrong colors can also, bring attention to our imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody might have fine lines or wrinkles or discoloration,
Yeah.
so everything is, highlighted if you wear the wrong color.
Yeah. And tell me that, like, just go over, because I know you had mentioned to me there was the warm summer. What are the different color categories that we could be?
So the easiest and most famous are the season color, season wise. It's into the 4 categories. One is called winter, summer, spring, and autumn or fall. The winter is the one which is more, if the clear colors look good on you, like an emerald greens, those
Yeah.
jewel tones, those colors look good on you. And they're clear, more clear. There is not much of a warmth,
Mm-hmm.
if you understand. Say for an example, your veins are either your veins are blue or
Yes.
green. So that's one way of finding out if you are warm or cool.
Yeah.
So winter is typically look good in clear colors,
Yeah.
real tones. That's
And
one.
is a winter person more like, would they have darker hair, darker features? Or
Yes. Yes. Darker
yeah.
hair, darker it can vary, but it's mostly more on your skin. You know how your skin is either it's clear or it has a more warmth. Because
Okay.
these days people you know uh dye their hair, so it's very difficult
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
determine according
So
to the
you're
hair.
looking at skin tone.
Skin tone, it will never, it's a foolproof
Yeah.
formula.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay.
So
That's great. So what's a summer?
So summer is the one you are still in the family kind of in the winter. So it's still the clear colors, but they're a little bit muted colors. So
Mm.
that means you have a little bit of a warmth or a neutral uh, undertone. I would give an example. Like so if you are falling into the summer category, a powder blue would look better than a navy blue or bright blue on you.
Mm-hmm.
So more muted colors that
Mm-hmm.
will look good on you.
Yeah. And then the spring?
Spring is again a warm undertone, predominantly warm undertone.
Mm-hmm.
And predominantly, I would say they would look good in like a teal color, for an example, because it's
Yeah.
summer colors. They would look good in salmony kind of red because it
Yeah.
has red undertone.
Yeah. That's so interesting because I remember like I would never go for like I wouldn't by like nature go to red. But then when I saw myself in red, and it was interesting because what I've learned to do is to kind of take a photo of myself and then see through the photo, like what does my skin tone look like? What do my eyes look like? What is it doing? Do I look drained? Do I look uplifted? Do I look alive? Do I look pasty? Um, but it's so interesting knowing these colors because, like I said, it shapes the decisions
Yeah.
that we don't know. And then what's the autumn or fall
The
person?
autumn and fall is strictly a very strong warm based color theory,
Yeah,
so that means you would look good in olive green, in because olive green has a lot of warmth in there versus a bottle green.
yeah,
Okay. And then you will look good in a brick red versus a blood red.
yeah.
You would look good in chocolate brown versus the actual, chocolate color.
And so what would be your practical tips for women if they don't know where they fall, what season they fall into? What would be practical tips like when they go shopping to to know how to make those choices?
Okay. First of all, I would say get a professional color analysis
Yeah.
because it is going to make your life so much easier. But if you cannot, in the meantime, I would say one test you can do at home is try to see your veins in the back of your wrist. See if your vein color is blue or is it a little bit green. And if you can't make out, the other test I would say is close to your face, take a white, like a milky white color shirt
Yeah.
and see if the white is looking good, or take an ivory or beigey ivory color shirt or a top and put it close to your face and see which is looking good. Either white is looking good or is the ivory or beigey color shirt is looking good. So
Mm.
that will determine your undertone. If the clear colors are going to look good on you, or if the warm colors are going to look good on you. So this is just a
Mm.
starting point. You need to have a proper color analysis to go like a full spectrum. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, you can do one other test at home, which is taking a silver jewelry and a golden jewelry and see which jewelry is looking good on you. If the silver jewelry is more flattering with your skin tone, that means the cool tone colors will look good on you. And if the golden one looks good on you, that means the warm toned colors will look good on you.
Mm. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna ask you at the end, because I know probably everybody's going, well, where do I do a professional color analysis? We'll talk about that at the end, where you can guide us. But a lot of women listening to the show are kind of high achieving, midlife, high functioning, busy women in leadership. Um, Men as well. I know there's many beautiful men that are listening to the podcast as well. However, I know the statistics are mostly women. And I know that you work with a lot of leaders and experts. And the parallels between the image and confidence and credibility are huge. and you teach leaders and experts how to use their image to stand out, to be memorable, and to be more influential. So, what parallels do you see between personal branding and personal identity?
So personal branding is something that, all the leaders need. I mean, personal branding is something that we already are a brand.
Yeah,
We may not know it. Even a
yeah,
stay-at-home mom is a brand. She just does not know that.
yeah.
And
I
that's
really love that. I love that because I kind of always, whenever you say that, I'm like, well, if I was a brand on a shelf, what would I look like? Yeah. So, okay, sorry, keep going. So
yeah.
good.
So it's like, it's your image that, maybe your family has it for you. If you're, just a stay-at-home mom, or your kids think about you. So
Mm,
it's the, thing that people think even when you leave the room. So that's one way of seeing it. And the
yeah.
other way is to see if, for leaders, say for an example, for leaders, if they are always presentable, including, of course, their hair, makeup, clothing, and their etiquettes, their communication style. So everything, entails their total image.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something very, very crucial, especially if you are trying to climb the leadership ladder.
Absolutely. So true. So I love that. I love what you're saying there. Um, and how can a woman in midlife use her image as a form of self-expression instead of self-criticism?
Very good question. So, self expression, as I said, that you are going to show up as your authentic self. And as I explained before, that my style is more modern, and I would just, try to do everything around my liking of like dressing up in a modern way. Hair, jewelry, clothing, everything is aligned to what I like and what I prefer and what gives me confidence. So
Mm,
when we are doing something that we already like, and if, of course, with the help of an image consultant and a color consultancy, you can take it to the next level. And that is
mm,
very, very crucial in the leadership roles as well. And you are being seen
mm,
as a leader because you always have that image, self image
mhm.
to portray.
And I love what you said before of when you leave the room, what's the feeling that you want people to have? And it was really interesting because when I stepped into this green, what I now go green Shireen,
Mm.
and when I lent into the psychology of the colors, and I was like, well, not only do I feel so me in it, but it is the expression, the well-being, the serenity, the calm. So I looked at the goals, like even when I'm doing a talk, what are the goals that I want people people to feel? What's the outcome? And matching that color with that emotion and what I felt most aligned in just really helped me just again feel so confident because it all just clicked in. It was all aligned, it was all consistent, and it was like a strong brand package there.
Yes,
Feels
absolutely.
like.
And one other thing I would love to add here when we're talking about the color. So
Mm,
when you're wearing the right color, the way you know is when you walk in the room, you get the compliment that, hey,
mhm,
Shireen, you look good today.
mm,
That
mhm.
means you are definitely wearing your right color.
Yeah.
And when the dress gets the compliment, that means the dress is taking the center stage and not you.
Ah.
Yeah. So when you write color, you are taking the center stage.
I love it. Really good. That's really interesting. Really good distinction. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun before we finish today.
Mm.
What's one fashion rule you want to ban forever?
I would say the one fashion rule I would say is that wear whatever's it is always in the fashion. No, it may not work for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to follow the trend, fashion trend always. You don't always have to follow the fashion trend. That's
Yeah.
one thing, I
I'm
would love
throwing
to.
away my skinny jeans forever.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's so important again, because rather than looking at what's in trend, what suits you, what you were saying
Yeah.
before, that's really important. What is a midlife glow up trend that you love?
I think is to accept, first of all, it is to accept that this is a different season of your life and reinventing your, wardrobe or, your whole life. That
Mm.
is the glow up, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, we're going to turn that into acceptance. That's so beautiful. It's so interesting because one thing that I've been battling with is also like I've got awful foot pain. And so heels have become very, very difficult for me. And like literally, if I stand in heels for 20 minutes, it's like I've been standing there for a week. I'm exhausted. And like part of this acceptance is going, well, I'm gonna own these like my funky runners or my funky more flat shoes, which um again just makes me feel comfortable and at the same time presentable. So I think that acceptance piece is so fantastic because for me, when I kind of go, oh, I need to wear the right shoes to elongate my legs, to elongate the skirt, to da 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 da, da, um, I feel like I go into conflict. Like in coaching, we call it cognitive dissonance, where it's like I'm knowing it's not right for me, but I'm doing it anyway. And so I love, love, love that acceptance piece. So
Yes.
that's
So
really
if you can't wear the heels anymore, or if it hurts, starts to hurting your feet after a certain time, I would say just go wear the platforms.
yeah.
Find
Yes.
them.
Platforms are a great one. I do have some really
Yes.
cute platforms, and you are correct. Platforms are a game changer.
Yes.
What's one thing you will wear when you want to feel unstoppable?
I personally like to wear a very statement necklace. You know,
Ah,
that's
yeah.
that's my go like thing that I own so many necklaces and that makes a statement.
Yeah. I love that. You spoke about like glasses before. Like I see so many people wearing statement glasses. I'm like, oh, that's so confident to wear statement glasses. Or even like I see so many women also just wearing such beautiful scarves and even hats. Like I've
Yes.
seen so many women wearing hats now. And I'm like, oh, that is amazing confidence to be able to exude and wear that off.
Yes, yes. So you have to find what makes you light up. Honestly, of course, first of all, it suits you, and secondly, what lights you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. This has been so wonderful, Purvi. I'm going to go into our closing inspiration and really get your final perspectives and thoughts because for the woman listening right now who feels unseen or insecure, I would love to know what you want her to know. Because the theme of this podcast is that midlife isn't a crisis. It's a climax. It's an awakening. So if a woman is listening right now and feels invisible and unsure of her style or disconnected from herself, what's the very first step she can take to reconnect with her confidence?
I would say the very first step is to step into your brilliance because your image is not just how you look, it's what are the qualities that you carry, what you bring to the table for your family, your friends, or in your business and your work. So all these things do matter and accept that, yes, you're into a different season of your life and you are just fabulous.
Mm. I love that. Step into your brilliance and shine. That is the ultimate, ultimate glow up.
Ye-
Um, and I love it because midlife is about coming home to yourself. So, what does living on point inside and out mean to you personally?
I would say it is to live your life to the fullest and, living your life to explore your potential and never giving up.
Oh, I love that. Never give up because every chapter is a new beginning. What's something that you are reinventing in yourself right now?
I am reinventing about, as I said, acceptance. It's a new season in life.
Yeah, yeah.
And, just like any other women in the 40s and 50s, we are empty nesters, a different life. So, going into a different adventures in life and
Excellent.
reinventing. And actually, it's coming home. It's my time now.
I love that. Well, that's our tagline at the Self Mastery Hub. Now is your time. So 100% you said it beautifully, Purvi. Um, how can people find you? We are going to put all the links in the show notes below, but tell people how they can find you, how you want us to connect with you.
Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Facebook, and my website is onpointimageconsulting.com. And my name is Purvi Ken Shah on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well.
Fantastic. I'll put all those links into the show notes that go with this episode, and it's just been so amazing. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing future episodes together, elaborating on this, and I hope people check out your website, because to do that professional color analysis is a real game changer. So thank you so much. Such important work you're doing. I really love it. And we will see you again soon. Thank you. Is there any final message you want to share?
Yes. One final thing I would say to all the women is that you have to believe you are beautiful. Unless you believe, you know, it's not going to work for you no matter what you do outside. So first, believe you are beautiful.
I love that. Beautiful closing message. Believe you are beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Purvi, and we will speak again soon.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Please remember to follow this podcast and share it with someone who you feel is ready for their midlife glow up and ready to step into their brilliance. Thank you for joining me on a new way to love, live, and lead. And remember, you're not too late. You're right on time. And your best, most radiant chapter begins right now.